does scheduling a showing work when you want to go see a house? And what if that property is tenant occupied? Then what? How does that work? Today, I am going to be starting a series on showings to take you through the whole process so you understand how it works. I'm Bethany Warnches, real estate agent with Addison Jones, and you are watching Tuesday Talks with Bethany, where I answer real estate FAQs. So today I'm going to cover those two topics, scheduling a showing and tenant occupied properties. And this series will go for 2 more videos after this. So let's start with scheduling a showing. So when you are working with me, I get you set up in a search that matches your criteria that sends you houses. So if you see something that pops up in your search that you're interested in, just reach out to me and let me know that you would like to schedule a showing. Also, if you drive past a house and a sign is in the yard and you're interested, reach out to me. If you see something on realtor.com or Facebook Marketplace or anywhere else on the internet, or you hear about something from word of mouth from someone else, just reach out to me and let me know that you would like to get a showing scheduled. Then the next step, once I know the property and we've talked about it, is coordinating our schedules. So when are you available? When am I available? And say we pick a time, let's say 3 o'clock on Thursday is going to work good for both of us. So what I do is I go into my app that I have, I pull up the property and I put in a showing request to the seller. Now, if that works for the seller, they can just confirm it. And then I reach back out to you and let you know that the showing is confirmed and we're all set to go. But if that time doesn't work for the seller, whether they decline it or propose a new time, then I figure out what time does work and reach back out to you and say, hey, seller declined the showing. They said that 5 o'clock on Thursday would work better. Would that work for you? And if you say, yeah, that would be all right, then I go ahead and I reschedule that for 5 o'clock on Thursday, and then we get a confirmation. So it's always where we coordinate our schedules first, and then we coordinate with the seller and make sure it works for them. And once we have confirmation, then I let you know, and we are all set for our showing. Now, you may see a property come up and get really excited about it. And you may think, I want to go see it and I want to go see it now. Say it is 4 o'clock at the end of the workday and it popped up and you want to go see it at 5 o'clock as soon as you're done with work. Well, an hour's notice is not necessarily a realistic expectation. Every once in a while, if it's a vacant property and you're available and I'm available, maybe we can make that work, but it's not the norm. So what is the norm? Well, let's think about a day. Say a house popped up in the morning while you were at work, you saw it come through 9 a.m. Well, we could try to get you in that evening after work is done. Or say it's later in the day, say it is 4 o'clock and you saw it pop up. More than likely, we're going to try to schedule for the next day. 12 to 24 hours is probably a good expectation. Every once in a while, like I said, you can get in sooner if it works for the seller, myself, and you, but it's not the realistic expectation that every single time a house pops up that you're going to get to be able to see it within an hour, because seller needs to be able to prepare their home for sale and be ready for you. There might be other showings scheduled, and then you have things to do, I have things to do. So it's just coordinating all of that. And that's why 12 to 24 hours is more normal, more expected than getting in within an hour, unless it's vacant and we're both available. So like I said, if you see it come up, just reach out to me. We'll coordinate our schedules. We'll do a realistic timeline about when you can get in, and then we'll go ahead and go on the showing. Now, what about if you are going to see, say, 3 properties at once. How does that work? Well, if you are going to see 3 properties at once, I am going to schedule them in the most efficient order. So we're not gonna see one property on this side of town, go back to a property on this side of the town, and then come back. No, we're gonna see the 2 properties here and then go to the next property. So I will put them in the most efficient order possible. Also, I typically schedule about a half an hour for a house, and then schedule the drive time between there. So say it's a 15-minute drive or a 5-minute drive. I'll take that into account with a 30-minute showing. And also, as I get to know you more, I'll have a better idea of if you are the buyer who just takes 10 minutes in a house or if you are the buyer who takes an hour in the house. And neither is right nor wrong. It's just more about you and who you are and how long you take. So as we get to know each other, I'll be able to better budget time for you. But normally I do, the 30 minutes if I don't really know you too well yet. So now let's shift into tenant occupied properties and how they work. So I talked about scheduling a regular showing, 12 to 24 hour notice is normal. But with tenant occupied properties, it is for sure 24 to 48 hours. And there is no, we're getting in sooner because there is that notice that tenants have to be given. Every once in a while it can be a 12, but I would say the majority of the ones that we see out there are 24 hours for tenant occupied properties. And sometimes too, like I said, we coordinate our schedules and then we coordinate with the seller, which is also coordinating with the tenant. And scheduling on tenant occupied properties can be more difficult. You are more likely to get declines and have to pick a different time. You're more likely to not get a response very quickly. So it takes a little more time often to get into tenant occupied properties. Then when we go to these tenant occupied properties, you have to understand that there's a good chance the tenants are going to be there. And also it's important to understand that these tenants might be distressed because where they live is up for sale and they don't know what's going to happen with their future. And so they can be kind of on edge about that. And when we walk through and the tenants are there, you have to be prepared that there's different tenant reactions that can happen. Some of them may not be happy. Like I said, they are worried about their future. They're not sure what's going to happen. Is their rent going to go up? Are they going to get kicked out? Do they need to find a new place to live? And they might be rude or not happy. They also may be really nice and love to have a chat with you about living there. They may also ask you, what are your plans with this property? They also may try to rip apart a property and try to tell you every single little thing that's wrong with it because they're trying to push you away from it. So it's just kind of preparing yourself for all of those different reactions that you might possibly get from tenants as you go through. Another classic one that I run into often is that we go there, our showing was confirmed, and the tenant says, I had no idea there was a showing. It happens all the time. So it's just understanding whether they did or didn't know. There is more miscommunication and sometimes not as good of a interaction because of them being distressed. It's just really important that we understand that and we're respectful and we're kind, and we just go through and we're in and we're out, and that's that. So hopefully this helps you understand how to get a showing scheduled, and also helps you understand if you're going to be looking at tenant occupied properties, whether you are looking to buy a duplex or a fourplex or even a single family home that's actually tenant occupied. It's just being aware of how that works, and just kind of being prepared for anything when you walk into a tenant occupied property. So I will continue this showing series. Like I said, I'm gonna do 2 more videos on this as well. So I will see you next time.